It's nice rushing the passer and getting sacks, but it all starts with stopping the run, right? You've got this middle linebacker right here, number 53, the maniac. I want to start right here with this play, DeForest, because you're in a 3 technique. You're between the tackle and the guard, all right? And your middle linebacker is right behind you here. I want you to kind of just take us through what a 3 technique is in this defense.
Obviously, in our defense, we want to gain penetration and we want to get up the field. I mean, specifically with my position, I want to hold those double teams, hold up the guard so he can't travel up to Darius specifically in this play. And so by taking up that double, Darius has been able to roam free, and look at that, Scott free coming off the edge and just filling the hole and, making a tackle.
On this technique, you're corkscrewing that right knee down into the ground right here. And literally, you talk about leverage now. I mean, this is where your leverage comes in. You're taking 650 pounds of Cam Robinson and Andrew Norwell here and keeping this man free. I mean, he's counting on you to be able to do this right now, so Robinson can't come up onto him right here.
I mean, it's the dirty work. It's sometimes you don't get recognized for it. I'm being able to fight back into my gap. If I get washed out, I mean, I can create a big hole, and, Robinson can come up and pick him up. And I mean, the running back could be hitting his head on the goalpost, you know what I mean? And coming free. So just those little things you got to fight through, at least stalemate the double at the line of scrimmage and, have 53 running free.
I'm curious, so you're taking on a double team. And so does your goal, when you start to feel the second guy come, you feel that tackle come here, is your goal to engage that tackle so he has no chance to get up on the linebacker and you're just freeing up your buddy, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's tough. It's tough in the middle of the action. I mean, trying to gauge all this at the same time and also try to have your linebacker free. So it's a lot of work.
Ideally, they shouldn't be able to run against you. It should be very limited, the yards that they gain when you're doing your job like that, correct?
I could have been, if I did an anchor, I would have been in Darius's lap, and they could have blocked both of us. So being able to have a good 3 technique that can take on doubles and hold the line of scrimmage, you got a pretty good defense.
When you're getting the one-on-ones, that's when you can go ahead and snatch and play fast.
Yep. Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's up, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So on the one-on-ones, go ahead and do what we do. Hit it and shed it.
All right.
But on the doubles is when we got to anchor it down.
All right.
Right? Hang in there on the doubles because they're not coming off and they're getting movement on us because we're trying to come off. All right, but if you're getting one-on-ones, hit it, right? Shed it and go ahead and play ball and do what we do.
As a 3 technique, you can't get reached, right? If you got a strong side play to the run, you can't get reached. You've got to be able to keep that outside arm free.
So I actually take a kind of a false step. I got too heavy on the guard. Obviously, like you said, he's trying to reach me. And as soon as I feel that, I got to press and get, separation. And that's what I end up doing and kicking my hips and fighting my way back into the B gap because that's my gap. As soon as I feel that, I disengage. And like you said, I have my outside arm free and I'm able to make the tackle.
So how hard is it not to guess right foot, left foot? Like in a situation like this where they could run inside zone, they could run outside zone on you. Like, did you play into the guard because your right step here is too far inside and now you have to play back outside?
I took too big of a step inside, so I ended up being too heavy on him. At that point, I knew, I had to get back outside, so I had to just shuffle my feet and get my hips back out by getting separation, and I was able to make it back into my gap.
You remind me a lot of Calais Campbell, who was a teammate of mine. And I remember when we drafted Calais, and this big, tall, lanky guy comes in, and I'm like, come on, there's no way this guy can play in the interior defensive line because it's all about leverage, right? It's all about low man wins. So you talked about the benefit of your size. Now, talk about the other side and the challenges of playing interior defensive line at your size.
Yeah, being 6'7", it's definitely a challenge, you know what I mean? Like you said, it's a game of leverage, especially inside. And, that's something I constantly have to work on every single day. It's just part of my nature. I'm big, I'm tall. And, the guys in there, I'm dealing with, 300-pound plus guys, combination is like 600 pounds, especially with the double teams. So I really got to constantly focus on, bending my knees, getting down, getting the leverage, and especially in the run game. So it's definitely something I'm working on every single day.
this defense coordinator in Indianapolis, Matt Eberflus, like, he's a gap defense. I mean, how many times do you hear just the phrase run fit, like all week long, DeForest? Because to me, it's just all run fit. So we're going to see an example. It's like a perfect fit. Everybody is in their gaps. And when you do it like this, it's like Adrian Peterson here has got no place to go.
You know, it doesn't matter if the line is going away right now, it's the zone away, and I still got to cross face to the guard, get into my gap because the A gap is my gap. Taekwon's doing a really great job of fighting through and coming down the line. And, you know, even though the tackle is going down, he's still, you know, pushing the tackle into his gap so Darius can scrape over the top. It's a simple pirate stunt.
Once you get your hat across, what is the goal?
Really, I'm trying to get vertical. If I get washed, then it just creates the edge a lot shorter for, you know, for the running back to hit it downhill. And so I'm trying to get vertical as much as I can and kind of set an edge from that A gap. He doesn't have a lot of leeway and it just comes directly downhill.
Hey, Buck, can you explain to the people what a pirate blitz is or a pirate stunt is? Can you take this play right here and just talk us through it?
Yeah, so right here I'm in the 3 technique. So I'll be spiking, you know, to that A gap across the 65's face, and our DN, he's in a 6 technique. He's, you know, spiking in as well, and he's trying to get down. Our linebacker scraping over the top, you know, coming off the edge in the C gap to fill that hole. So I mean, it's one of the simplest stunts in cover 2.
And they'll hand it off to a running back. No, he lost the ball.
Yeah, it's another pirate stunt. I mean, the Ravens, they're a real big downhill team, downhill run team. So I knew I would be able to get across of the guard's face. And like we were saying before, Kurt, I mean, right here, I'm trying to get vertical. You know what I mean? Create a new line of scrimmage, you know, make them play, you know, play on their side of the ball. And I mean, right there, I'm reaching out. I feel the guard on me, and I see the ball. And so at that point, you know, I'm trying to make a play on the ball and get the ball out so we can get an extra possession. And I end up tapping it out, and we end up getting the ball and creating a turnover.
To me, as an offensive tackle here, DeForest, like trying to cut you off on a play away is my hardest block I got to make all day. You can't get cut off on the backside of this thing.
No, I see the guard go away. I know I'm on the backside of the play. You know, I'm ripping through the inside shoulder of the tackle so he doesn't cut me off. And I'm trying to get vertical. I'm not letting him, you know, wash me down the line. I know the running back's going to have to cut back because I know our DN's going to set the edge. You know, and I have him on my, you know, kind of on my back. I'm trying to get vertical. I want to stay vertical, you know, make the TFL.
You keep saying get vertical. And, you know, we always used to talk about that is we got to win that line of scrimmage. And that's really what you're telling me every time you say that is no matter what step I take, I got to get vertical, right? I got to play on their side of the line of scrimmage. And you see that every time as you find that pressure and then you're pushing up.
I mean, you got to win the line of scrimmage. I mean, if you win the line of scrimmage, you win the game.
You start on one side and you're so far pushing, you just lay out and do like the whole. Well, you know what I mean? I was like, that would just be one massive speed bump.
DeForest, they had this rule reinforcement put in maybe last year before, for defensive linemen not to hold, not to grab offensive linemen. Now, that's kind of what your job is, like to be able to grab that guard, not let him get up there to the linebacker. And with the umpire now in the backfield, not where he used to be, like, are you still trying to do that from time to time?
Baldy, are you flat out asking him if he's trying to cheat?
No, it's not cheating.
Are you flat out asking Buck if he tries to cheat? Is that what you're saying here?
Kurt,
put it out there for everybody. Hey, Buck, how often do you try to cheat when you're playing?
Hey, Kurt, do you always drive 55? Do you always drive 55 with a seatbelt on? Always?
Hey, this isn't about me. This is about Buck right now. I want to hear his answer.
Okay.
The guard is trying to get up to the linebacker for sure. Yeah. And, you know, every time they're going down, you know, I'm trying to get a piece of them, you know, so he's not getting up scot-free. You know, when they get up scot-free and they can get up to our linebackers quick, that's when you have a problem. You know, as much as I can, I try to make their lives, you know, not as easy, you know, to make their play. So, I mean, I don't hold them in a sense, but, you know, I kind of disrupt
You're just trying to
their route.
you try to impede them as much as you can.
That's what I do.
get it. All right.
Exactly.
And on offense, we don't pick guys, we rub them, right? It's not illegal when you rub them instead of pick them. I get
Exactly.
it, Bug. I get it.
Tired of these damn quarterback hits. I need to give me sacks. Damn, bro.
And he's going to be swallowed up here by Justin Houston and DeForest Buckner.
I want to get into some of your pass rush moves here. This is one of your favorite, arm over.
I got him with an arm over. I'm trying to clear an arm that I brought over and, hit his arm down. My hips is past his hips. And then, all I see is a quarterback. So I just need to cut it tight to get to him. And, like you said, there's no counter move needed. I pretty much just beat him.
He's got that right arm to pin his left arm down so that he couldn't get up and just post on you. Mm-hmm. That move right there, pinning that left arm down.
Knocking it down, pinning it down again for a second time so he can't recover.
We always talk about tools in our toolbox, and we specifically talk about that with edge rushers a lot. How many different moves can they make? When you move to the interior, first of all, how many tools do you have in your toolbox? And does it become much more limited when you're playing in those tight confines of an interior defensive lineman?
It's crazy because, you would think great D linemen, they have all types of tools in their toolbox. They can do all type of moves and little things like that. But usually you look at the great ones, they have one or two. They have one or two and they master their craft. They're really, really good at it. That's what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? I'm really good at my arm over move.
Hits them, sheds them, basically right into Watson.
I also work off my length, my power, and my long arm. And after that, the counter off of my swim move. You know what I mean? To make sure I have a counter. So it's really like three moves that I'm trying to refine and get down. And usually the really good pass rushers, they only have a limit amount of moves that they do because when you're doing too much, you can't master the certain moves that you need. And that's what I'm trying to do in part of my game right now.
I feel like what you just described is this play right here, DeForest.
I got him with an arm over. I got to press and get, separation. At that point right there, I'm clearing my inside arm, hit his arm down. And that's what I end up doing.
Like you really stab Saffold here. You get him a little bit off balance with your length and your push. And then you throw the arm over on him. Now you've got him. You've won a one-on-one right there. Now, is the quarterback going to be able to get rid of the ball in time? That's a pretty tough throw right there, I would think, with you beating down on him.
No, yeah, definitely.
These quarterback hits, you wish they all could be sacks, DeForest, but these quarterback hits, like I look at quarterback hits and I'm like, that hit, that hurt, like it's still a good throw by Tannehill, but when you've got a good hit on a guy right now, right there.
I wish all those hits could be sacks, but that's just not the way the game goes. At the same time, I'd much rather be hitting the quarterback than not being in his vicinity. So, after hitting him, as long as I can get him having to pick himself up off the ground, throughout the game, I know I'm in his head. You know what I mean? He's going to be thinking about me all game. Where's 99 at? Where's 99 at? You know what I mean? And instead of looking at it, going through his progressions and looking downfield or even rushing his throws, our rushing coverage works together. So if I got him rushing his throws, he's going to throw it to one of our guys. So, as long as I'm hitting him and he has to pick himself up off the ground, I'm good.
How do you know? What do you see in a quarterback when you go, I got him. The rest of the game, he's thinking about me.
Happy feet. Their footwork goes out the window. They're kind of looking all over the place. When they're dropping back, they're looking at the rush the entire time. They're not even looking downfield. They know where guys are going to be, but they're not really looking at where the routes are being developed. And sometimes, the majority of the time, they're looking at the rush. And I've seen it a couple of times. And, that's a fun way to play.
Buck, we've talked about you guys being, a gap scheme defense. So obviously in the run game, you have a particular gap. Tell me how that changes once you recognize pass. Now do you have the freedom to go wherever you want when you recognize pass? Do you still have to hold a particular gap? Talk to me about that.
In the run game, you talk about gaps. In the pass game, you're talking about lanes. So Right here, we got a 4-man rush, so we all have a rush lane. So the two outside guys, they have outside rush. They have the outside rush lanes. They got to cage the quarterback. And the two interior guys have the two interior rush lanes. Sometimes you'll have the center. Obviously, they'll slide a certain way. Whatever defensive tackle it is to the slide, he needs to even out the rush and end up rushing the center and creating pressure up, from the center, taking on that double. And usually the opposite guy away that's not getting the slide to him, he has that one-on-one, so he has the freedom to go, inside or outside on the guard.
So everything we've seen up to this point, DeForest, has been a 1 and a 3 technique by you and the interior defensive lineman. Now here you're both in a 3 technique outside shade of the guard. Tell me why and what advantage this gives you defensively.
Right now we're in an even front, so we got 2 3s, 2 5s, and we're rushing 4. Creating those 2 3s, creates space in the middle, for both guys to work. Those guys inside, they're athletes, but they're not that great of athletes and moving, side to side. And so being able to create that space for us to work is big.
I want you to take me through the stunt of how this developed, where you get free to take this safety.
It was all determined on where the center was going to slide. And so, when the center's sliding away, I needed to get penetration. And so, one way I was able to do it was I was able to club and rip the guard and get vertical. I was able to get a good hook on the guard, by sticking my arm up in there and get him up under his armpit. He wasn't able to come off and help on Danico coming on the wrap. And as soon as they came off me, I came free. I just kept driving through. Danico missed a layup. That was tough for him, but
yeah.
He ended up giving it to me. And that was my first career sack as a Colt. It was a safety at home.
And it's a safety. DeForest Buckner was all up in the mix.
Might have to switch sides with Nico. I might have to switch sides with Nico on 3rd down. I'm going to get him some one-on-ones. Got to try and work this slide.
Buck, again, talk to me about this. When I was playing, very seldom did I see 3 defensive linemen on the same side of the field. Is that normally it was 2 by 2, like we've seen up to this point. I'm seeing more teams now that are overshifting that nose tackle, and they'll put them to one side or the other. Tell me why, and tell me what you're trying to create in this particular situation.
You're just trying to create more one-on-ones, by overloading one side.
Nico, you want the 3 or? Let me get a 3.
For this instance right here, I'm at a really wide 3. I'm almost in like a 4. By doing that, I'm able to create a big island for myself. As you can see, I have that one-on-one. I have a 2-way go. I go in or out. And so I have all that space to work with. The one thing about O-linemen, they don't like space. They don't like all that space, feeling like they're on an island. And right now, actually, we have a stunt. It's a little Ted stunt with me and Danico. So he's bringing the center's eyes away to create more space for me to get through that A-gap. From that point, we just do a really good job with working together. If I don't end up getting this sack, Danico's going to get it because, 62 is locked in on me, and, he's not able to pass off the game. It takes the whole unit to get a sack. Especially in our room, it takes all 4 guys. We need to work together. We need to cage the quarterback. Eventually, one of us is going to get it.
Let's go, man.
If we're all doing our own thing, nobody's going to end up getting it. You know what I mean? He's going to end up escaping, or the ball's going to be completed. So we all got to work together for that one person, whoever it is. You could be the lucky guy to get the sack.
Second down and 10. Mayfield backs to throw, scans, sets up the running back screen to Ernest Johnson.
I always believe the defensive line's job is the screen game. I don't care if you're screening to a back, tight end screen. If you're running and chasing, turning your hips, squaring up like you do, you should be able to stop this thing from ever getting started.
I felt Treader, leave right away. And as soon as I felt him, release, I knew, like I say, just an ordinary pass. He's running off, letting me free. It's a screen. And so when you got your guys running, you see Taylor Stallworth, our nose, you see him react to it too. You know what I mean? If I don't make the play, he might make the play. It's one of those things where you need a D lineman running, because if you don't, he could make a cut. You see his O linemen are downfield making those cuts. He could be, running in for 6.
Excellent play by Buckner on the screen. He came from the middle of the field and ran all the way to the numbers.
blocked in the air, incomplete, blocked as soon as it left his hand.
How quickly do you see this where Foles is making his throw, like out to the flat?
So as soon as I felt his hand, he slapped me on the back, I knew it was a screen. And so I just, dug in and I saw the ball, and I saw it just a little too late. Like, apparently, I don't know. I gotta get on the jugs machine after practice, because this definitely should have been a pick. I think about this one. Oof, it was bad.
At some point at Puno High School, did you ever line up at tight end or anything like that, Buck? Did they ever try to make you a tight end with your size and athletic ability?
I did. I played both ways. So I can't catch the ball. I just got to work on it more. Damn.